Hey, Liz over at Lizzie Faye Loves Books got me interested in Wool, which is a sci-fi epic. She was talking about it and I thought, oh, I'm going to try that. And oh my gosh, I loved it. It was amazing. And I even ordered the sequel to that. The idea behind that was Hugh Howey, who wrote it, and now he's like written a whole bunch of other successful sci-fi novels. But he started that one out by just doing little sections like novellas, and he would call them Wool 1, Wool 2, Wool 3, Wool 4, Wool 5. And I got all of them, so I'm just going to consider it one book because he then compiled all of those novellas together to make that the Wool Omnibus. So since I read the whole thing, then I read the Wool Omnibus. And I wasn't expecting, I thought I'd read like the first one. Oh my gosh, I loved it. I couldn't put it down and I didn't want to stop reading it. I wanted to keep going. I mean, I was like, oh, what's going to happen next? How could they end that there? And then I would move on to the next one and then the next one. And now that I finally finished, I ordered the sequel, which is Shift. It's a trilogy. It's Wool, Shift, and then Dust. And I think I heard that they're making Wool a movie, and that'll be interesting. Okay, basically the idea of this, I think why it's called Wool is because they have to go out and they have to clean the monitors of the screen because everybody is underground and they like to look at this monitor showing the outside even though everything out there is all like yucky. Like you can tell some sort of apocalypse happened or something like that. And they have to clean it. The people that get sent out to clean these monitors are given a piece of wool to do it. And the people that get sent out there are the ones that talk about the outside in public. They're not allowed to talk about going outside. They are in this silo that is buried deep under the ground, except for the top of it where the monitor is, where they can see outside. And it gets all dusty and gross, and they want it cleaned, and then they also, apparently, I'm assuming, they didn't come right out and say this, but I'm thinking that, you know, it's a silo and they didn't want to have too many people in there, so they thought of this way to get rid of people. And not only that, that's not the main reason. I'm just guessing that's one of the reasons, but the main reason is they don't want mass chaos in the silo. There's like 100 floors. 140. No, there's 140 floors, and there's anything you would need to, you know, live underground in like a bunker type of situation, except elevators. There are all these stairs, and like if you have to go to the down deep, which is like the lower floors, it could take you like 2 or 3 days to get down there. That bothered me. That irritated me. I was like, why don't they have any elevators? I mean, I couldn't imagine climbing and going down all those stairs because believe me, there's thousands of stairs in this silo. Down deep is the mechanical, where everybody does all the mechanical work and they keep everything running. Well, only one person knows the truth about the silo. They study these secret books that tells them how they should be doing things, and the guy that's running it is corrupt and he's not very nice, and he sends innocent people out there to clean, which means he's sending them to their death, because you go out there and you die, basically. And they create this illusion, the engineers down in this secretive section called the IT. That's where all the technology is. They create these suits that give them an illusion. And so when they go out there, they actually do the cleaning. And then they die. The suits are only engineered to last so long. And the new sheriff finds this out. The original sheriff was sent out to clean. And of course, you know, he dies. But then the new sheriff, she's tough. She's from the down deep. And just because she's starting to uncover the truth, they send her outside. The people that get sent outside are the ones they're afraid are going to cause problems, and there's somehow going to be an uprising in the silo. And the people that live in the silo, they think that that's it. It's just them. So it's a dystopian novel because outside is like ruins. It's like brown out there, not a blue sky at all, dust, dirt. And you know what? Another thing I was thinking is that it's called wool because they pull the wool over everybody's eyes in the silo. I don't know. Or it's maybe simply just that they're given a piece of wool to clean. And different people in the story think, how come everybody cleans? Why don't they just say screw it and just, you know, die? They're like, wouldn't they be like, no, I'm not cleaning. They're sending me out to my death. Why should I do something nice for them? And a lot of people wonder this. Well, they find out because the new sheriff who gets set up, she's uncovering too much. She has people who are willing to help her, and they fix up her suit. And she decides she's not going to clean. And she doesn't. And she keeps walking. And she discovers another silo. And I'm not going to tell you any more because I don't want to ruin the story. But she gets into that silo, and this is all the intrigue that happens. There's an uprising in the silo where she was kicked out of. And there's like a war going on in this silo, and there's all sorts of death and destruction. But people are starting to see that something's not right. And in the meantime, she's over at the other silo having her own adventures and her own problems over at the other silo. It's really, really great. I mean, the characterizations are wonderful. The world that this author has built is wonderful. I don't want to tell, like, I'm not doing this justice. Let me just say that they're not alone. The silo that they're in is silo number 18. I'll leave you with that. It's silo number 18. And they are hiding something. And it's very menacing. Like, there's this, like, tone of menace in the background. But I gotta tell you, you know, I'm always complaining about the heroines in books where it seems like the author tries too hard and they just make them this, like, bitch. This leading lady was great. This is the way a character should be. A likable leader. A likable character. She had a good head on her shoulders. She was fair. She wasn't a bitch. She wasn't trying to be better than everybody. She wanted to help people. And she cares about other human beings as well. Not just herself. But it was amazing. Like, everything that I was reading about this silo, I couldn't believe. I mean, you'd have to be in shape to be in that silo. Now, the thing is I started reading the sequel Shift, and there's elevators in that one. And that's supposed to be the prequel to Wool. So I don't know how they went from elevators to just all these stairs. I guess I'm going to find out. Because, I mean, I don't know. And then they'd have these porters, okay? It was their job. They'd have to, like, run up and down all these stairs delivering stuff. I was like, no way, I couldn't do that. They had their hydroponic section. They had places where you could eat. They had little apartments for everybody, and they all had to wear coveralls, and it was like the color of what their job was. Like if you're in mechanics or you're in IT or you're in the cafeteria work or whatever, you would wear a different color. And during the short tenure that the main character has as a sheriff, okay, she gets to meet this guy from IT who's a really nice gentleman, and he likes to come up and he likes to look out at the screen every night and map the stars and look at all the stars. And she develops a relationship with him, and he figures into what happens at the end of the story as well. He gets picked to be the next in line of the really nasty dude that's sending people to their deaths. He's picked to be the next one who is the only one that knows the true information, the truth about the silo. His name is Lucas. And they kind of fall for each other. And it's not really one of those love stories where you're like, oh, this takes away from the actual story. You just know by what they're thinking and the way they talk to each other, because they do communicate with each other. Even when she leaves the silo, you can tell that they're developing feelings for each other. So, I mean, I want to say so much more. I don't want to stop talking about this. This is awesome. Believe me, it's incredible. I mean, I really enjoyed it. I did not want to even sleep. I wanted to keep reading to find out what was going to happen the next day. It's like 500 and some pages when it's all together as an omnibus. And I ordered Shift as an omnibus too. For Shift, there's 3 of them. Shift 1, Shift 2, Shift 3. Shift 3. And I got them all together as like the full novel. And I know that it's going to be good. It's the prequel. And then Dust is supposed to go back to what happens after Wool ended. So you're going to know right off the bat, I'm not spoiling anything, you're going to know, it's no secret, that this is a dystopian society and something horrible happened, and there's at least a couple thousand people living in a silo. But it's really, really awesome uncovering what's going on and why they're down there. And it doesn't even really give you all the answers that you need at the end of it. You still need to find out more. But you learn a lot. And you see that there's hope. Because at first it seems like it's really, really bleak. But as you read on, you're like, yeah, do it. You're cheering for these people because you feel like things can change and things can change for the better. Now, I still have to find out what the disaster was that caused the silos to be built. And I look forward to that. And I just hope that I did this book justice with my review. I really, really do. I would love to talk about it with any of you that read it. You can get it dirt cheap at Amazon for an ebook. And look at that graphic up there. You see the graphic up above? That is awesome. I mean, when I saw that, I was like, that fits exactly with the story. And thank you, Liz. Thank you for introducing me to this book. I mean, I know you didn't introduce it to me particularly, but I saw your video, and your video was the reason that I decided to read it, and I'm glad I did. I mean, this is one of the best books that I have ever read, and I'm a new fan of this Hugh Howey. I'm going to be reading a lot of his books. I think he's my new favorite author. Him and Jeff Vandermeer are tied for my new favorite author. It has been a long time since I have read books that I thought were totally, totally, amazingly awesome. And this was one of them. I think I like this better than Annihilation, and that's saying something because I loved Annihilation. So, I'm sure that I'm leaving stuff out, and I'm sorry, but maybe that's for the best because you don't want to know the whole story before you read it, right? I didn't want to ruin it for you. I did not give you too many spoilers. What you heard is not going to ruin the story for you, trust me. There's much, much more to it. So, there you have it. That's my review for the sci-fi epic Wool by Hugh Howey. Give it a try.